Hi, I am Danu. Today we are here at Hilton Residences for a 2-day workshop organized by Success Zante and Mind Mappers Lanka. So the focus for this 2-day workshop is on for the middle management tier of an organization for them to know and to tackle the know-hows of the supply chain industry. Stick around with us while we take a look around the event and also speak to some influential figures here and also some participants on what they learned from this workshop. So stay tuned. So now we have with us Mr. Shuo, the CEO of Success Zante. So let's ask him a few questions on this. So Mr. Shuo, the first question that I have for you is, could workshops like this become a part of an ongoing learning journey for your audience? And any ideas on how future workshops might be built on what's covered here?
So definitely, supply chain has always been a scenario in Sri Lanka that it has always created a very positive impact. Now, for Success Zante, so we have a vision of creating an impact. Now, we are just not educating the professionals. We want to create an impact, a social environment, so that individuals don't just have to become a doctor or an engineer. Not that we have against anything with them, but then again, supply chain is a profession anybody can choose. So that's the level of engagement we are looking at. Now, this is not just a normal workshop 2-day. You come here, okay, listen to, and then, because knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge plus action is the real power. And that's what we are doing here. This 2-day workshop. Now, we have all the leading companies, the corporates, they have sent their supply chain managers, senior managers, right? They're here. They're learning, they're getting the knowledge, but it's not the end. But they have to put it in action. And it's only going to happen with the support of the top management. What we are teaching here is how to collaborate, how to, co-create. Right? That's what we are looking at. Customer service, how to serve your distributor in a way so that you create something together. So those are the learnings we are bringing in with the help of ISCEA, which is the best in supply chain certification in the world. So they've been in operation for 20 years. And for Success Zante, it has always been either world's number one or world's best. In supply chain, for ISCA, International Supply Chain Education Alliance, they're the number one in the world. And we want to bring that knowledge through these workshops and other programs to the professionals so that we can create that positive impact. And so that we help our country here in Sri Lanka so that we don't have to leave the country. We be here and help the country and help to make that changes, the transformation that we're looking for. And it's certainly it's just the beginning. So there are different levels of certification program, right? And for us, it's not just about selling the certificate. It's not that. Our mission is bigger than that. So we want to create 1,000 supply chain professionals in Sri Lanka to begin with, within 2 years. That's what we are looking at. And when we say professionals, they are practitioners. The knowledge they gain, we make sure that they will go and take action with the support of their top management. So that's the whole purpose behind doing this supply chain certification program.
Thank you, Mr. Shuo. Thank you for having us here. So now we have with us Ms. Dilmini Veragama, the Director Supply Chain at Hemas International. So Ms. Dilmini, good evening to you. Good evening. So I have a question for you. So the question that I have is, as a senior professional in the supply chain industry, how do you believe that workshops like these help the junior professionals in the industry, like to adapt to these new changes that are taking place, or how to enhance the strategies that they use for all of their decision making and all?
Thank you. Good question. I think there are many workshops that people go for, right? When you say supply chain, it's a all-encompassing word that nobody really knows the definition of. So if you really look at the knowledge or the professional studies around it, it's diverse. You'll have logistics and transport graduates coming in, you'll have engineering graduates coming in, you'll have finance graduates. So it's people from all across that come into probably one of the most important functions that is kind of the backbone of an organization. What I like about these kind of workshops, specifically what Izaz did today, is that he makes it very practical. So it isn't just about learning the theory and understanding the jargon around the subject. It's more so in figuring out, look, what does the jargon mean? What does it mean to me? How does it impact my business? How do I apply it in real life? And what value can I unlock or unleash for where I work because of what, not theory again, but the knowledge base that I gain here. And I think it's also really nice that you create the network of supply chain professionals, because it is something that you cannot do alone. Especially supply chain is all about relationships, it's connectivity, it's the network and the metrics that you build, right? It's an extended supply chain network. So I do believe that, Shu and I go way back. Love the work he does. I think he's an exemplary person who showcases individual improvement on a daily basis. So I love that the two of them are really taking this forward, and I do hope that more and more, not just youngsters honestly, but even senior professionals come and be a part of this for the sake of teaching, learning and networking.
So now we have with us Mr. Ijazur Rahman, the CEO of the International Supply Chain Education Alliance for the Asian region. So the question I have for you, Mr. Ijazur, is what key areas or topics within competitive supply chain management did you focus on while structuring the content for this workshop? Like any focus area?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this program has been designed for both beginners and for those who spent like 10, 15 years in the industry, because as you know about supply chain, this is not a discipline that has been there for some time, right? People are still learning, it is still evolving. So as far as Sri Lankan market is concerned, our target was to introduce the best practices of supply chain to the beginners, to excite them to take up, bigger roles in supply chain, and also for those who are in the mid-level. However, we ended up with some very senior people in the team. And the way the framework was designed, we had good overview on supply chain, on the current challenges in the supply chain. And we made it very interactive to actually learn from each other. So we picked on the challenges that different industries are facing in Sri Lanka and tried to provide a conceptual solution to that, and also shared best practices from all the organization. So in a nutshell, it gave an overview on the supply chain. It touched upon the major performance drivers in the supply chain. It talks about the technological advancement that is taking place and how we should benefit from this. And one very critical aspect that we covered is the behavioral side, the human side in it, right? We allowed people to reflect upon that no matter how robust a process that we have, it's the people that make all the changes. So we really encourage people to develop their thinking agility to deal with the current management, supply chain management challenges. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rahman. So I have another question for you. With the emerging technologies and shifts in the global shifts taking place in the supply chain industry, how crucial do you think it is important for a company to adapt their strategies according to these shifts to stay competitive in the market?
Thank you. It's extremely crucial because right now more than 30 countries are in war. So that's not a normal war, right, that we are in. We had, in countries like Sri Lanka, we had tsunami, we had pandemic, now we have war, we had political challenges, right? All those have created unprecedented kind of challenges in the supply chain. So unless the companies continue to evolve with their supply chain strategy, they will fail to deliver what they plan to deliver. Because supply chain is all about knowing from the customer what they want, when they want, how they want it, and then designing a supply chain that is capable of delivering what they wanted, when they wanted, and how they wanted. So it is extremely critical. And I would also think it is critical that people don't look at, excessively on the long term. They look at short term, or more intermediate term than a very long term. And evolve the strategy in a manner so that the changes that are taking place in the market with the customers' buying behavior, with the suppliers, relocating to different places, dollar crisis, freight crisis and all those realities and the war, we need to continuously focus on the signals in the market and bring them back in the business and tweak the supply chain strategy in a manner so that it remains competitive at any time. So it's extremely critical.